Hello, teachers, parents, and educational leaders, and welcome to this episode of Breaking Down the B.E.S.T. Now, during this episode, you will get a peek into the members-only area where I have tons of resources to help you make math fun, make it click, and make it stick. There should be a link somewhere around this video where you can learn more. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's get to it, and let's break down the standard. Welcome to Breaking Down the B.E.S.T, a video series dedicated to breaking down Florida's best standards for math. So grab something to write with and maybe even a snack. This looks good. And don't forget to put a smile on your face. There you go, I see you. And let's dive into today's best standard. Hello everyone, my name is Sarah McCarthy and I'm stoked that you are joining me today. I said stoked. I did. I'm stoked that you're joining me for this standard today, which is MA.4.AR.3.2. We are in the algebraic reasoning strand. And this standard says generate, describe, and extend a numerical pattern that follows a given rule. So generate, that means to create a pattern with a rule and a starting point. Describe means that we have a rule written in words, where in 5th grade, it'll be written in an expression. And also to extend means to keep it going. So you can see this example, generate, create a pattern of 4 numbers, 4 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, that follows the rule of adding 14, and starting at 5. So this would be, by continuing that pattern, you would be nailing this benchmark right there. What benchmarks are related to this standard? Well, we have 4.NSO.2.2, which is our 3-digit by 2-digit multiplication standard. And then for these two, we've got adding and subtracting fractions and adding and subtracting with money. I put a little question mark there because I wasn't getting any clues before. Having the fractions and the money might be part of a pattern. So I might need to add some more video lessons based on some more research that I do. Just know that I did not include any using fractions or money yet. If you happen to see anything floating around in your world that's like, oh yeah, fractions and money, definitely part of this pattern standard, let me know. But that's just not the impression that I got. But if I do, I will create more video lessons. An expression is when we have numbers and an operation. Numbers and operations, we're not focusing on that equal sign. So 5 plus 14, that is an expression. If we put an equal sign right there, that would then transform it into an equation. In 3rd grade, they did have work with patterns, very similar to 4th grade. And in 5th grade, our patterns are going to be written as an expression. So it won't say add 5, but it might say something like 5 plus 5n would be the rule for that standard. It's written as an expression. And then following that one, writing numerical patterns with an input and output table. Purpose and instructional strategies section, which, by the way, let me pause this video to let you know that I did not create this document that I've marked up all over. The Florida Department of Education did. This is a resource that they provide to the public. I'm just showing you how I take what they provide everyone with, and in order to analyze and take a deep dive into the components of the standard to create resources that are strategically aligned to the standards in the membership of Taking on the B.E.S.T. So I'm just kind of giving you a snapshot into my brain and what it's thinking with the standards. Students should generate numerical patterns that follow a given rule with one step, and this will reinforce their facts and help them develop fluency. Here's the definition of a pattern. A pattern is a sequence that repeats the same rule over and over. Students will need to investigate different types of patterns to find rules and look for relationships. And common misconceptions. I said lack of fluency, or I didn't say, they said, and I just highlighted it because I thought I agreed. Lack of fluency with the 4 operations. So if a student is not fluent with adding, subtracting, multiplication, and division, that will show up in this standard. That will cause them to make more mistakes. Here, I just wanted to highlight some words like term. They only provided the word expression for the term, but for the vocabulary that needs to be known. But I think term, pattern, odd, even, rule, term again. Okay, knowing what these words mean, knowing that the first term has a value, the second term has a value, and using that. So I said to use and highlight, not physically highlight, but to always showcase the important terminology, to use it and to talk about it whenever you're working with problems. Okay, and then here's some examples of what this might look like. Okay, you can take a look at those, but I want to show you what you have access to with your taking on the B.E.S.T membership that aligns with what we just went over. All right, so here we are at the home page for McCarthy Math Academy. You're going to click Members, enter here, and taking on the B.E.S.T. You might need to log in, click 4th grade, scroll down to AR for algebraic reasoning. That's the strand we want. And finally, the very bottom is M.A.4.AR.3.2 patterns. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 video lessons here. The first video lessons will involve creating and extending patterns. And here's the video lesson sheet here. First term is 2, follows the rule add 11. What are the next 5 terms? So we will create the pattern and then extend it 5 terms. We have multiply by 6, subtract by 98. It's really important to get all those different operations involved, all the 4 operations. Okay, this next video lesson for the bronze membership, which if you have the bronze, the silver, or the gold membership, you have access to these video lessons. You determine the rules of the pattern and extend. So a pattern shown, what is the rule of the pattern and what are the next 3 terms? Here, will the 7th term be odd or even? So they're extending and then asking a question about odd and even, what they learned about in 3rd grade. And this is a patterns challenge where we're taking a look at the term, which this would be the first term that has a value of 2, second term has a value of 4, and showcasing what the rule is. Okay. So those are your bronze membership resources. If you have the silver or the gold, you also have access to more resources. So here's a video lesson in the bronze. And then you have extra practice. That does not have a video lesson, but it's extra practice for your students to practice after they've seen the lesson. This is the video lesson. This is the extra practice. Video lesson, extra practice. Okay. Here's your math mission. It says this is a math task that combines all the elements of the standard and increases the rigor, the responsibility of the student's thinking. So part 1, a pattern is shown, blank, blank, 70, 104, blank. So we've got missing values throughout. What's the rule? Fill in the missing numbers and extend the pattern to include 3 more terms. Create a pattern with the rule of multiply by 3. Include 6 terms in your pattern. Are your terms odd, even, or both? So you can see there's a lot more thinking involved in these questions. And then the last 2 pages are for your math misconception mystery video lesson, which is right here. You click play, I'll walk you through it. Students will solve this problem that's aligned to the standard on their own or in a small group. Then they will be instructed to listen to 4 different characters as to how they solve the problem. Now these 4 characters are just me dressed up in silly costumes. 3 of the characters will make a mistake that students commonly make, and only 1 has the correct answer. After they have witnessed all of the characters, they'll fill out this detective report. And then the gold plan, if you are a gold member, you have even more. You have your mini assessment with a variety of question types, all about rules, generating, extending patterns. Okay, it's usually about 4 to 5 questions for these. There's 5 in this one. You also have your answer key. You have this episode of Breaking Down the B.E.S.T, which is also available on YouTube, but on YouTube there are ads. Here it's right there, ad-free, and with all of your other resources, so it's right there for you. But most people have the gold membership because of McCarthy Math 155, which is a daily math intervention aligned to the Common Core standards. And obviously we are not using the Common Core standards anymore, but there are a lot of similarities, a lot of skill practices that you can use in here. So let me just look. There are patterns right there. So if you click on 4th grade, let's see what we've got. By the way, the 155 stands for 155 grade level video lessons. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Ooh, here's some patterns. So the first term, you just want to be careful here because it says the add 5, that's 1 step, subtract 2, subtract 3, I mean. Okay, that one's good. Let me see if I can find one that might be a little, like this one. This would be a 2-step, and that's not aligned with the B.E.S.T standards right now. So multiply by 2, then add 3. That was a Common Core thing. We need to stick with just 1 there. So you might want to think about rolling that one out because it's not really aligned with the B.E.S.T standards. And this one is good too. So these are just extra practices for you, for your students, a safe place for them to practice to get better and build those confidence muscles, right? All right, I think that's it. I hope that this episode helped you to break down this standard with 4th grade patterns. I hope you see now what you have access to with your membership and how it aligns. And I just want to thank you for all that you do for education, what you step up and do every day with your life. It really does matter. Your students, they are watching you. You are setting the example. You are leading them by showcasing what the best version of you looks like. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for inviting me into your educational world. And I know that you have a lot to do, so I'm going to honor your time, and I'll see you next time, okay? All right, bye. Okay, so I know that I just said goodbye for now, but I'm gonna ask you to do one more thing, okay? If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it with your teacher friends or other leaders in education. That's how I get to continue doing what I love to do, which of course is supporting you all to the best of my ability. All right, for real now. Bye.